I watched it vibrate on the kitchen counter, the cheap fireworks still echoing through the walls of my apartment. Someone upstairs was laughing too loudly. Someone else was crying. I hadn't turned on the TV. I didn't need noise tonight. I answered on the third ring. "Have you seen the news?" My son-in-law's voice didn't sound like his. Thin, shaking, like something inside him had cracked and was leaking out through his teeth. "No," I said. A pause. Too long. They're saying your name." I closed my eyes. Not in fear, in recognition. Outside, a final firework burst, then fizzled. Cheap, directionless. "What are they saying?" I asked. He swallowed. I could hear it. "They're asking questions." Good. I leaned back against the counter and let the cold seep through my shirt. My family's words from earlier replayed, sharp and rehearsed. "You'll make everyone uncomfortable," as if discomfort were contagious, as if I were the disease. I hadn't gone. I'd stayed home. I'd waited. On the TV across the room, the screen flickered to life by itself. Breaking news banner. Red. Aggressive. My reflection stared back at me from the black glass. Calm. Almost bored. I'd always known this moment would arrive quietly. Truth never kicks down the door. It waits until the clock flips. The reporter's mouth moved, but I muted the sound. I didn't need her voice to tell me what was wrong. I'd felt it for years. The slight shifts, the pauses that lasted half a second too long, the way my wife's smile stopped reaching her eyes whenever my brother entered the room. I told myself I was imagining it. Men my age imagine betrayal everywhere. Still, there were details that wouldn't sit still. Late dinners that never included leftovers. Shared jokes that ended when I walked in. A child who didn't look like me, no matter how often I searched his face for myself. I loved my family in the way you love a house you've lived in too long. You know every crack, every weak beam. You stop asking if it's safe and start stepping carefully. When they told me not to come tonight, I heard something underneath the words. Relief. I wasn't angry then. I was curious. Curiosity is quieter than rage, more dangerous. The reporter on the screen held up a photo, a charity gala. My wife, my brother, their bodies angled toward each other in a way that forgot the world existed. I felt the realization slide into place, smooth as a blade. So that's what it was. Not distance, not stress, a double life folded neatly behind mine. I didn't rewind. I didn't need proof yet. I needed patience. I spent the next weeks becoming invisible. I smiled when spoken to. I nodded at lies. I watched hands, not faces. Phone records told stories people forgot to delete. Shared locations that overlapped too often to be coincidence. Messages erased, but not overwritten. A hotel receipt folded into a jacket pocket, creased like it had been handled many times. At night, my thoughts were loud, not emotional, mathematical. If they'd started years ago, then everything since was contaminated. Holidays, birthdays, every apology, every promise. I practiced my breathing. Slow, even. Control is a muscle. I kept it strong. They thought I was alone. They confused silence with ignorance. I requested a paternity test under the guise of medical necessity. No drama, no accusations, just concern. They agreed too quickly. People hiding something always do. While we waited, I planned. Not revenge, sequence. Truth is useless unless it lands properly. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday, beige, ordinary. I opened it alone. Percentages, numbers, final. 0 probability. I folded the paper once, carefully, like respect still mattered. That evening I asked my wife a question I already knew the answer to. "Did you ever lie to me about anything important?" She laughed, too fast. "No." I slid the document across the table. The sound it made was small. Her reaction wasn't. She cried, denied, reached for me. I didn't move. My brother stood frozen in the doorway, his face collapsing in stages. I felt nothing then. That came later. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't ask why. I told them what I'd already done. The accounts transferred, the trust dissolved, the company documents released to the board, the timeline emailed anonymously to the press. All legal, all clean. Their world didn't explode, it folded inward. My brother dropped into a chair like gravity had remembered him. My wife kept saying my name as if repetition could rewind time. I stood, buttoned my coat. I knew before tonight, I said. You just didn't know I knew. That was the only sentence that mattered. Now, weeks later, the apartment is quiet again. I sleep well. I eat when I'm hungry. People call to apologize for not seeing it sooner. I let them talk. Their guilt isn't mine to manage. I wasn't uninvited because I made people uncomfortable.